Well, hi, friends. Well, it's apple season, and you know what that means. It means gathering up maybe apples that you've grown yourself, or some that you've went and picked, uh, maybe at an orchard, or maybe apples that you've been gifted from your friends. Our friend Debbie and James went into Missouri and they were bringing some apples back, so they grabbed us some. And I think I ended up with, more or less 21 pounds of apples. And, there's so many ways to put up apples and so many recipes to use them in. And in some of my first latter videos, y'all have seen me uh, make apple butter, even though I use pears instead of apples. Y'all have seen me dehydrate apples, and you've also seen me do an old recipe for canning sliced apples. And I'll put them links down below in my description box if you want to go back and see those. But today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an easy method of making applesauce, because I was thinking, I've got dehydrated apples, I've got apples in the freezer, I've even got some apple pie filling still in the pantry. So I thought, what is something that I really want to make out of these apples? Well, I just come to the conclusion that I wanted some homemade applesauce. It's just so easy to make. And used to back in the day, even back then, when I was making, when I had abundance of apples, I would make applesauce in my slow cooker or my crock pot. And it's just so easy. You can do it that way. You can do it on top of your stove. Now, what I'd love to do is go in there and stoke up the wood cook stove and cook my apples down on top of the wood cook stove. But it's still getting in the upper 80s here during the day, so we haven't even cleaned the chimney out to the wood cook stove. But I know that's a coming, and Mr. Brown will have to get up there and clean that chimney out. And I'm so looking forward to that first fire in our wood cook stove. But I want to show y'all just an easy peasy way to make homemade applesauce, and a lot of y'all have done this, and just can it up to put in your pantry. Now, I'm not going to do a whole big pantry full of applesauce. I'm going to do enough for me and Mr. Brown to enjoy, though. 21 pounds of apples is a lot if you're going to sit down and just eat them. But when you cook them down, you think 21 pounds, that's going to make a lot. I ended up with about 5 pints of applesauce and 2 quarts of apple pie filling. So that, that's a blessing for my pantry. And it'll go into the winter with us, and we're going to do a lot with it. What can you do with applesauce? You can do so much with it, because we love just eating a little bit of applesauce with our suppers. Just enough sweetness after you've ate that savory food to eat a little bit of applesauce. I like to put a little bit of applesauce with maybe a pork tenderloin. I like to bake with applesauce. Making applesauce muffins and cakes, and making applesauce stack cake. And I mean, you can even heat applesauce up just a little bit and pour it on top of some ice cream. It's so good. Applesauce is very versatile, and we really love it, especially the homemade. You can even pour some applesauce on top of a hot buttered biscuit. It's not much different. If you think about it, applesauce is not much different than apple butter. And I make apple butter in my slow cooker too, or your crock pot, whichever. But anyways, I was just going to show you an easy way to get these apples worked up, get in the slow cooker or crock pot, pretty much the same thing, and how fast, you can go on about your business. Then you've got your applesauce or your pie filling or whatever, and I'm going to be steam canning mine. You can water bath it, and it's just about that easy. And before you know it, you're going to have some good old apples in your pantry that you'll be able to use this winter. So let's get started on some easy peasy applesauce, and maybe just a few quarts of apple pie filling. It's such an easy process. Now I've got 2 slow cookers out. I'm going to do 1 slow cooker for pie filling and 1 for applesauce. So I've already got about half of my apples chopped up. And I'm going to start these apples in this slow cooker. And I've got it pretty much full, lipping full to the top. And you can see I've just got them chunked up. They'll cook down pretty fast. So this one's going to be for my applesauce. I'm just going to add, I don't know. I could end up adding more sugar, but I'm going to put about 1.5 cups to start out with. You don't have to add any sugar at all if you don't want to, but I'm adding 1.5 cups, and we'll go from there. I'm just going to stir this sugar up a little bit. If you want to put some cinnamon in here, you can, but I'm going to leave my applesauce just like this, and that's it. I'm not adding no water, no lemon juice, or nothing to it. It's just about this simple. So we'll put the lid on it, and I'm going to put this on low for anywhere from 6 to 8 hours. And do not throw your peelings and cores away, y'all, because we're going to be making some apple cider vinegar with all these. I've got my crock ready, and I've got some more apples I need to peel up to make my apple pie filling. These are Jonathan apples. Aren't they beautiful? They are just a really deep red color. So pretty. So like I said, do not throw your peelings and cores away. We're going to try to get them all in this one crock. And I'm really excited about getting all this done and getting some apples put up in the pantry. So we're going to take our peelings, and I'm taking this crock. And you don't have to do this much. You can just do maybe a gallon jar, or maybe just a quart jar if you want to, or a couple quarts. I'm going to try to get as much of this in here in this crock as I can. And I think that if I push it down in there, I can get most of it in there. Now I'm using my cores too. My cores and my peelings. And what I don't use, I'll throw out to the chickens. I think it's getting pretty full. So now all we have to do is get us some good old well water. I have well water. You don't need to use, excuse me, you don't need to use city water. So if you don't have well water, try to get you some good filtered water to make vinegar with. Don't ever use city water that's got, sometimes they put bleach and different kinds of things in your city water. I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of sugar. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this, but this just helps feed the fermenting process a little bit. You won't taste the sugar once it's fermented. But you do want to make sure that your peelings and cores are absolutely covered underneath the water. And I can tell you, my crock is lipping full. You can see how full that is. The water's plumb up to the top. But that's okay. But since it's so full, I will have to put my crock in, I've got a big enamel pan that I'll have to set my crock in, because once it starts fermenting, as full as this is, it'll start to bubble a little bit, and it's liable to go over the edge. So you'll just put your lid on it like that, and I have 2 slow cookers with apples. The first one was the applesauce. The second one, I just kept it chunked up, and I'll use this one for fried pies, cobblers, pies. You see I kept it kind of chunky. I even put a little bit of cinnamon in here with the sugar. While this was cooking in the slow cooker, I cooked it for about 6 hours on low. I didn't, so that it would thicken up and not be too much liquid. kept the lid like this, and that did help it. So you can see it's more of a pie filling consistency. So when I added my apples to the slow cookers, I did not add any water to it. Even the applesauce one, I did not add any water to. You don't need to. They tell you when you're cooking down apples for applesauce to add a little bit of water. You got enough liquid in your apples that you really don't need to do that. I never do that. So because I don't do that, and I do this method here, you don't have to strain your apples after you cook them or put them through a sieve or anything like that, a sieve. So you're good. You can see how thick that is, and it's going to can up just right. So I'll be able to, not sure how much I'll get. I'm going to do a couple of quarts, some pints, and even some half pints. It just depends on, you know, what I want to use it for. So I don't want to put them all in pints. I don't want to put them all in quarts or anything like that. So I'm going to be doing all different sizes. So what we'll do is we'll get these in the jars and get them in the, you can water bath it. You can steam them. Steam bath it. I'm going to steam bath it. And about that easy. I'm going to start off with my apple pie filling. And like I said, I've got different sizes here. I've got quarts, pints, and half pints. Not sure, you know, how much I'm going to get yet. They say it's an average of 3 pounds of apples per pint. Or was it quart? Per pint or quart? Now I can't even remember. Maybe it's quart. 3 pounds per quart. Does that sound right? Or is it a pint? I'll have to look that up. But anyways, when they cook down like this, you never know what you're going to get. But I've got hot jars. I've got, my apples are still hot. And the reason I want to do some quarts, but mainly pints, is because in case I need to make a pie, maybe I got people coming over, I need to make a pie for several people. A quart of apples will make a really good size apple pie. Now, for just me and Danny, you know, cooking for two, I would just put them in pints. I could just make a small apple cobbler or use it for my fried pies. And what it looks like here is that I'm going to have enough probably for another quart. So I'll have enough of the apple pie filling for 2 good apple pies. My applesauce, I just kind of looked at it a while ago, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get at least 4 or 5 pints out of it. Apples really do cook down, you know, quite a bit. So 21 pounds of apples, you know, they're going to cook down. So if you would get probably 4 pints if you want to put it in pints of your apple pie filling. And you seen, like you know, I guess that's where I messed up. I should have tried to pay more attention and seen how many pounds or cups I was putting in each slow cooker. But you know, it'll work out. I think sometimes we try to be too precise, too worry about stuff way too much. But this was a cooker full, a slow cooker full. So you can go from there on it, just whatever you think. This was the one that I just kept chopped up, you know, didn't puree or anything for applesauce. But you know, really and truly, this one here was probably 3/4 full of chopped up apples. It wasn't as overly, you know, as my applesauce slow cooker was. But anyways, you would want to leave And I've got about an inch headspace there. So I'm just going to push my debubbler down the sides of it. And that'll kind of help push some of that pie filling down in there. Now usually when I would use a whole quart of apple pie filling would be around the holidays usually. So now I'm going to go get my applesauce. I got my steam canner back here. It's getting ready. So there's my applesauce. You see how easy this is. And Mr. Brown said to make sure that I save some of this for him, not to can it all up. So my applesauce is still hot. And if for some reason that you need to cook your apples down one day and then come back and can them up, you can do that. Just reheat your applesauce or your apple pie filling. My apple pie filling, y'all seen, all I did was I just put the apples, sugar, and a little cinnamon. And if you want to, you can add some lemon juice to it. I'm not adding any lemon juice to this. And I didn't add any to the slow cooker. It's totally up to you. But I did not add no water. A lot of recipes that take, for cooking down apples for applesauce on top of your stove especially, I have you add at least a half a cup to a cup of water. I never do that because there's enough liquid when you slow cook these like this that you don't need that water. And then after they're done, you'll have to go back and you'll have to use a fine mesh strainer, sieve, or something and get that liquid out of that applesauce. I'm not going to do that. I just think that's too much work. So I've never ever, when I made homemade applesauce, ever added water to it. And it always turns out fine. Apples are your most natural pectin. It's a really good pectin. It's your natural pectin. Sometimes when I'm making jams, I will cut up a couple of small apples. So for instance, I'm making some blackberry jam, and I don't use any kind of pectin in it. And I'll chop up a few little apples to put in there. Now a lot of people will do the whole process of making homemade pectin out of the apples. I've only done that one time and it was so much work. I said I'm not doing that again. I'll just cut up apples, and I see my grandma do it, and that's just, so I realize now why she done it. It was for the natural pectin, and it does work. But you can do it either way. Now if you want to, after you put your applesauce or pie filling in here, if you want to add a little lemon juice to it, you go right ahead. The applesauce, so I'm going to do 4 pints. I'm going to see if I can get a couple of half pints. I don't know. I might just get one. Because we do sometimes when I'm cooking some kind of pork, like a pork tenderloin or something, I like to add just a little bit of applesauce on the side with it. I won't need a whole pint for that. I just need a little half pint. So that's why I'm saying I'm just kind of going by different sizes and seeing how that's going to work out for me. And it seems like it's going to work out pretty good. I'm going to end up, it looks like, with 2 quarts of apple pie filling for a pretty good sized pie, and 4 quarts of applesauce, 4 pints, and 2 half pints, which will be 5 pints of applesauce. I'll get that out in a minute, y'all. So that was with, you know, close to 21 pounds of Jonathan apples. So that kind of gives you an idea of how many pounds and what you will get out of it. Because, like I said, they cook down. Your apples will cook down. Now, out of that 21 pounds, I probably ate a couple too, so. So it's looking really good, y'all. I'm going to save just a little bit in the thing for Mr. Brown. I'm just going to kind of go down the sides and debubble these pint jars a little bit. So I had one too many pints out. So I guess that pretty good, didn't I? Now, whether if you choose to water bath or steam bath, and ever since I bought my steam canner, I don't even water bath anymore, y'all. I just love my steam canner. I never thought, you know, I thought, well, what do I need one for? I can just go ahead and water bath. But I did. I bought one a while back. And I'm using vinegar just to wipe the sticky off the top. But you can just use water. So make sure we get a good seal. So remember, I said my applesauce and my apples were hot. They were still hot out of the slow cooker. And the jars were hot. I got my steam canner heating up, getting ready. Now I'm just wiping the rims down really good, y'all. And always check them for any kind of, because my jars, I've had so many of these jars for so many years. I have to check them, make sure that there's no nicks or anything on top of the rims that would cause it not to seal. And, you know, something sticky like applesauce, you need to make sure that there's nothing sticky on it. But anyways, I just wanted to bring y'all along. You know, I got these beautiful apples. And, you know, I've got sliced apples in the freezer. I've got dehydrated apples. So, and I even have some apple pie fillings still in the pantry. So I thought, now what do I need? I thought, well, I just need some applesauce. But then when I got to that second slow cooker, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to chunk them up and just make some pie filling that I can use for a bunch of fried pies or just a regular pie. I'm going to get my lids on here. I'm using 4-jar lids. This is some of my favorite lids. Whoops, I didn't get this one clean, y'all. I use 4 jars and lids, and I also use Superb. They are my favorite lids. Then we'll put our rings on here. I love this time of year because fall, not just the, you know, the crisp, cool air and just feeling so much better coming out of the summer. You know, a lot of the apples are coming off. We don't have as many in Arkansas, I think, as Missouri. You can go up in Missouri and you can find some really wonderful apple orchards. I know there's some here in Arkansas. I'm not familiar with all of them. So, I know that we're not very good at growing apples up here on this hill. We just have not been able to do it. Now, at the beginning of spring, I showed y'all that my apple tree had blooms on it, and then it made several little apples. But let me tell you something that happened. Oh, the squirrels got my little apples. So, yeah. My first year of getting some apples, and the squirrels got them. And, you know, I should have been paying more attention to them, but I wasn't. Maybe next year I'll do better. I can tell you something that does grow good. I'm bringing y'all over here, y'all. In Arkansas, and that's pears. My grandparents had several pear trees on their place. Now, since I'm putting quarts and pints and half pints, I will be steam canning this for 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes at my altitude, 600 feet, for quarts, but I'm just going to do them all 20 minutes. I don't want to confuse y'all about that. See, if I don't get this one in here, I'll save it and put it in the refrigerator. Okay. The steam hole is in the very back, and that steam will start coming out the back. Then I've got a gauge up here for my altitude. And once it gets over here in the dark green for my altitude is when I'll start timing it for 20 minutes. But I won't start timing it yet. I'm going to wait till it gets over here where it needs to be. It's just about that easy. I love my steam canner. It is it's called Fruit Saver. I got it from Amazon. I'll put the link down below in my description box if anybody wants to look at it and see. So, I'll be watching my gauge here. Okay, there's steam coming out of that hole in the back. Let's see where our gauge is. It's in the dark green. I'm not going to start counting yet. I'm going to wait till it gets just a little farther down. Then I'll start counting. I'll put it on 20 minutes, just a little bit farther down there. Then the countdown will be 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we've got some beautiful jarred up pie filling and applesauce. You see how easy it was. So y'all fill your pantry with some fresh apples.
I don't mind skinning them and quartering them.
I don't hunt them and I don't skin them, but I'll cook them and eat them.
Oh, yeah, I don't have a problem there.
It's not particularly exciting, but...
Well, it could be some people. I always thought I'd like to do it, but after you tell me it takes that many dips.
And it takes more wax than you would think.
So you told me a while ago it takes
It takes about a pound of wax.
to make
And
one.
when you're melting down old candles, that's a lot of old candles to do. because I melt them down into blocks like this, and I think I've got 8 of them in that crock pot.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of wax. And I'll probably have to add some to this crock pot before the day's over.
And it makes the blue, that size, the blue you got hanging there.
Yeah, those are not quite done.
That's about, you said 25 dips?
25 or 35, I forgot.
Yeah. And she's made 1,000 of them to bring?
Yeah. Indeed, each one of these plastic tubs has 200 in it.
A lot of time.
It was a summer project.
A lot of time spent.
Well, and just melting it down in the crock pot takes 2 hours to get it hot enough to even start. So makes for a long day.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
You're more than
You
welcome.
do beautiful work.
Well, I don't do as good as I used to. Like I said, I've been dead and brought me back to life. A year ago, they did. I'm not kidding. I died. And they brought me back. They done CPR on me, brought me back, broke my rib. Now remember, I got my finger under there feeling this. Sometimes I stick them enough to make them bleed. Come on through there. Sometimes the needle don't hurt. It's a hard part.
It is. It's beautiful.
But this is the way you do it. You can make 2 stitches. Don't try the 3rd. Unless you got something that's real easy to do.
I had to get out of that lawn chair. It's too low.
No.
You know I'm old. She's 150 years old, in Switzerland, totally, completely restored.
How old?
She's 150 years old. She was made in 1870. And what I'm doing now is increasing the uptake. She was in the car the drive down for a while. She's very particular. But may take.
Switzerland, huh?
See, it's not Switzerland. She's been totally restored by a master spinner. I made a lot of money in COVID.
I've never seen one like that, so I wondered.
This is a very unusual spinning wheel. I'm not sure what she was used a lot. See this groove? This is where the fiber came down when they were spinning. See these 2 cups? This is for you have to wet flax when you spin it, and it you have to wet flax, and I think they put water. We don't put any water on this thing at all.
Yeah.
But that's but her
It's very similar to this one.
her uptake is off because the drop-in came off in the car. This is the drop. I'll have her going and I spent quite a lot of time getting her going. This is called an orifice hook because you really can't feed that fiber through that hook through that hole by yourself. So you take that hook, pulls it right through. The guy made it and restored the spinning wheel. I'm gonna have fabric all over me. These are really supposed to be over it, but she really doesn't want to do it over it. You know, when I'm 150, I hope people accommodate me. I'm not sure what the advantage of having this on the side is. The normal spinning wheel.
Okay, the name of the band is Down Yonder. What's your name?
Chef?
Chief?
And Debbie, Ginger Heart.
Dolly.
It's nice to meet y'all. So I have permission to put y'all on my videos, right? Okay, thank you. Because people will very much enjoy it, I guarantee you. Thank y'all.
And the royalty checks.
Okay.
Anyone.
Okay, thank y'all. You're fine.
And he died.
Well, we sure enjoyed the Hardy Homesteader Days. It happens in September every year, so maybe y'all can come see us next September. We had a lot of fun. People just like us that are keeping the old ways. Some wonderful, nice people. You meet a lot of really interesting people. A lot of things going on too. They had pots of soup and beans, and they had the chuck wagon, and they were cooking up some mighty fine victuals. Boy, it smelled good over there at that chuck wagon too. You got to meet some of the different cattle, milk cows. Well, I want to thank Debbie and James for bringing me those apples. We're going to enjoy them this winter, that's for sure. So I hope y'all enjoyed the little easy process of putting up applesauce or pie filling, whichever one. Or if you cook it down and put you some cinnamon in it and make you a little bit of apple butter, whichever. If you think about it, like I said, it's pretty much all the same thing. But anyways, and I hope you enjoyed just the little outing that we had in Hardy, Arkansas at the Pioneer Homesteading festival thing that they put on every year. And maybe next year y'all can come visit too. We've seen a lot there. Oh, it was by the time we left, it was really getting busy, y'all. In fact, the traffic got so bad I didn't think we was going to get out, but we did. There's a lot of neat things going on there, and a lot of people showing you the old ways. And what made it just so perfect is that we got to meet several of y'all that watch our channel, and our subscriber friends, and we really appreciate it. And we were so happy to meet y'all and just had a good time talking to y'all and hugging your necks. So it was just a good day and all. So thank y'all for watching this video. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and keep us going. And y'all have a beautiful, beautiful week. Our week is starting out beautiful. But it's still warm, y'all. It's still warm, but I know it's going to cool off. It's got to. Now, the mornings are really nice. The mornings are so nice that we can come out here with a cup of coffee and just sit out here and enjoy just the coolness of the air. And, of course, it's staying dark later now, you know. It's getting that time of year. So the mornings are just really, really nice. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, stay safe and know that we love y'all. But most of all, God loves you. So God bless everybody. We'll see y'all in a few days.